Right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a long and exciting day, and the excitement's just going to build because we're going to move straight into the Technovation Award. I'd like to request all of you to please give the dignitaries for this award a huge round of applause as I welcome them onto the stage. Please put your hands together for our chief guest for this evening, Dr. Sridhar Mitta. I'd like to invite him onto the stage. Technovation Award sponsor, Rajiv Kushu, Director, Texas Instruments. Mr. Hemant, Co-founder and Executive Vice President of Sankhya Labs. And Mr. Anil, IESA Chairman. I'd like to request them to please come up on stage. We'd like to welcome our delegates to this Technovation Award. I'd like to now request Mr. Rajesh Ram Mishra, President IESA, to introduce our chief guest for this evening.
Good evening. I think the time has come to recognize all the members of IESA who have put great effort last year building excellent products and solutions as well as mentoring people. So I would like to introduce our chief guest, Dr. Sridhar Mitta. So I myself have been groomed under his guidance, okay, when I joined Wipro in 1988. So he's considered the father of ESDM because he was the first employee of Wipro to start building computers for India, okay. And then, he went on to build, special real-time systems for Department of Defense, then, Department of Space. And finally, he took R&D capabilities of India to the global customers. Today, we talk about so many, India development centers, be it Intel, be it, Texas Instruments. So the first set of activities were done by him in terms of doing services for those companies abroad, right? Okay. And then he became, the president of Wipro Global R&D. After that, his work of designing computers for India as well as for defense, gave him 5 consecutive years awards of excellence in electronics R&D in India. Okay, I think we should give it. So he created the first VLSI IP chip company called Nthink, which is a spin-off of Wipro, providing IPs to the global world in VLSI space. And today we are talking about hundreds of companies in India which has groomed. In fact, there is a saying that 25% of the VLSI design professionals in India are products of Wipro. Okay, so I think that credit goes to Dr. Mitta. Okay, and so currently Dr. Mitta is running a social venture which is called Next Wealth Venture that is taking, his aim is to kind of give job to around 10,000 people in the rural parts of India doing technology services for the global customers, okay. And I request Dr. Mitta to share his perspective about ESDM and about this award. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajesh, for the nice introduction. Basically, I got my PhD in 1969 to 72 when I was in United States. At that time, the smart people are supposed to go and do PhD in control systems. So my PhD was in control systems. And when I went to the IoT conference in one of the booths, I asked him, what is IoT? So they explained, we have sensors, we have this one, we have that one, all those things. Then I asked them, what is the difference between IoT and control systems? So that person said, I don't know control systems. Similarly, at the time, I took a course on artificial intelligence. Okay. Today, since morning, we are using the word, hearing the word on artificial intelligence. So the basically point I'm making is the concepts were there 50 years ago, but today we are seeing them being implemented the way various speakers have mentioned. So when I came back from the US and joined the public sector, ECIL, and then Wipro, so we built a very impressive engineering capability in Wipro called R&D, Wipro R&D, where we designed computer systems, and there was more work of hardware than software. In 1980, there was no institution which was offering computer science courses except IIT Kanpur, if I remember right. From that onwards to 1990, when we reached a stage where there was an opportunity for design services, software took off, but even though we were equally capable in hardware designs, it was not forthcoming. There are two reasons for that. One is that the belief in the US saying that Indians are good in software, but not good in hardware. So it's a perception. I think we are equally good or equally bad on both. The second problem was with respect to the infrastructure. So even though infrastructure was bad, whatever is the limitation of infrastructure to do software was kind of taken care both by the government and by the industry. Whereas in the case of hardware designs and hardware manufacturing, those things were not addressed, and because of the reasons why we have done this. So we confined ourselves only to designs, IP, and other things. So the reason why software succeeded was very simple. Economic value can be designed by, can be represented by bits and bytes. Whether it's the design, customer requirements, code, testing, everything is designed by bits. So we had a telecom network, which was originally voice. Then it became a communication network to use digital things where voice was converted into digits. And this network evolved. So when we started using the same digital networks to convert software into digital value and then use the same network, so distance became zero. The usual problems of immigration, customs, currency controls, IP controls, all vanished. So that is the reason why software grew, hardware did not grow. So today we are talking about a situation where we are trying to solve those hardware problems still, but here is a great opportunity for the country where we can put hardware and software together, where our natural advantage of software and ability to design hardware and address the problems of today's world. There are two other advantages I see here. First thing is, all these technologies are happening so fast together, that nobody is an expert or has an experience. So everybody is starting at the same time. The second advantage is, so today the Indian companies, Indian infrastructure have the resources to invest. Government is doing its bit, and startups are coming into picture. So this is a time for us to look at big companies doing certain things, government doing certain things, startups doing certain things. So there's no depth of problems. There's a million problems, there could be a million solutions. So it's natural that ISA is recognizing these people, encouraging them, giving the help they need by working with the government, with the association, and other these things. So I would like to say that this is the greatest opportunity for the people here. We are at the time when things are fantastic. All the best. Thank you.
TI, if you see, has been driving a lot of innovation by driving innovation not only in cutting edge technology. See, many of our chips are basically changing, whether it is software, whether it is defense, whether it is industrial, whether it is automotive, or the new age technologies like artificial intelligence, IoT, or big data. So TI in India started way back in 1985 when India had not completely liberalized. The liberalization process started in 1991. I think probably we were one of the first guys, in fact, the first one to realize the potential of Indian engineers. That's where we set up the first development center. So if you see one of the statements of our CEO a few years back, there's hardly any chip which TI produces which is not being touched by India. So which means, and from this place we have already filed more than 1,500 patents. So if you see the number of patents with respect to the number of engineers, this is the best density of patents which have been filed from India. So, and it also is the second largest design center outside of US. I think so that's really important, and many of the semiconductor companies like us have similar story to share. So the global innovation is basically changing. If you see, it used to be focused in three typical areas, whether it was Europe, US, and Japan. But in the last few years, it is slightly changing, and now the new emerging economies like Brazil, China, and India are slowly ramping up in this area. And if you see, for example, the case of startups, I think India is right now the top 3 to 4 countries in the number of startups. But the fact is, many of these startups are not able to scale up. It's not only because of the lack of capital. I think the capital is there. But then what is important is what is biggest problem what we face today is the lack of ecosystem around the startups. So it's an important responsibility of industry, state governments, central government to come together and play an important role of enabling the ecosystem. And we have seen a lot of initiatives at a policy level from Government of India, whether it is Startup India, whether it is Make in India, which are really good policies which will act as a catalyst. And there are some good examples. For example, you have heard about Electropreneur Park in Delhi. It was a big success in this direction. We are also signing up tomorrow for the Electropreneur Park in Orissa, and our own Government of Karnataka SAFL program, which is a semiconductor accelerator lab, which again shows and gives a great examples of how government can play is playing a catalyst in this whole startup or Make in India. So TI, with a legacy of close to 90 years, basically understands this responsibility very well. And we are doing various initiatives like many of the industry folks out here, and I would like to mention a couple of them. We run a pan-India Innovation Challenge design contest, which last year was participated by 1,000+ colleges and 16,000 students. More than 16,000 participate in that. And what happens is and this is basically a joint, is done together with MyGov portal, Department of Science and Technology, and IMB. Many of these startups, which is basically at the university level, will get incubated in IMB. I think we feel this is a great initiative which will help the Make in India objective of the Government of India. And the second most important, which I would like to mention, is about the design cycle for the products is pretty large. And I think TI realized it a few years back, and they set up a subsystem design team, which has now hundreds of engineers, not only in India, but in Europe as well as in US. So it's basically focused on industrial subsystem design as well as automotive subsystem design. If you go to the TI website and look for subsystem design, you will find thousands of designs. And these designs are not like EVM kind of a design. These designs are the designs which basically the people can take and actually integrate in their overall big system. This basically reduces the overall cycle time. And we see this will help the overall ESDM industry in India as well as in other countries. So if you see, the world around us is changing pretty quickly. And For example, today, the number of devices, connected devices, have already are more than the number of human beings on the planet, and which means a lot of data needs to be stored and needs to be crunched, right? So, and we see since the world is innovating, the world is changing, and what happens is that semiconductor is the heart of all these changes. And when you say, so semiconductor as an industry basically both drives as well as benefits from this change. So coming to the Technovision Awards, I think there's a great initiative from IESA for the last many years. I think we have been associated with these awards for the last 5+ years to basically help and basically motivate not only individuals but also companies who are helping the whole ESDM industry to go to the next level from India. I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate all the winners, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Rajiv. I'd like to now request Mr. Hemant to address this gathering.
I just wanted to talk a bit about, how we came into sponsoring a Technovation Award. I am from Sankhya Labs, which is a fabless semiconductor company. And the person you see here, I'm sure he's familiar to at least 60 to 70% of the people here. But I just wanted to record our association with Dr. Mohan Shetty. And that is how we got associated with the Technovation Award sponsorship. So, just to familiarize you, those of you who didn't know Mahant, basically Mahant is widely known. I think most of the people who have gray hair or have lost a lot of hair in this audience, they would all look at to him as a role model and as a mentor. Many of us would look at him as a mentor. So we wanted to also familiarize or to inspire the successive generations on what sort of a social impact that a single person can have. Mahant was of course, he is Dr. Mohan Shetty, but we all knew him as Mahant. And he is probably, I would say, if you give a single word, sort of in an Indian language we would call him a Mali. Mali is like a gardener, because all through his professional life that we have seen here in India, and probably earlier when he was in US, he nurtured people. And he was one of the first people who mentored a team of mixed signal engineers at TI. And went on to build a very reputed organization. And he was not one to rest on his laurels. So after probably a decade of that, he decided that he had to do something different. And he decided that there's enough things happening out of Bangalore. Every guy can do things from Bangalore, but I want to do something from a different place, which is, so he decided to set up shop in Manipal, which is a sort of a small town near Udupi on the coastal Karnataka. And he decided that he will take fresh engineers out of college and teach them VLSI. And he built a company. So from a mentor, he became a sort of a teacher, trainer, guru kind of to this set of engineers who grew in terms of the kind of revenues they did. He nurtured, he looked after them almost like a parent would. He would provide all these fresh engineers with all the training and all of the infrastructure that's needed for training them. They delivered huge amount of services for the VLSI industry. He built a company that was sustainable with fresh engineers out of college. And somewhere along the line, we got in sort of closer association with Mahant as Sankhya Labs. So somewhere around 2006, we had this brainwave that there should be a fabless semiconductor company out of India. We were doing chips, prior lives from multinationals, but we decided that we want to do something as an Indian fabless company. And of course, like all founders, we came up with an idea, and we were all ready to put our money. But the real challenge, as we all know, in fabless semiconductor company, it's not it's not the favorite of investors. But we were really fortunate that the first person we went to was Mohan Shetty. And he just asked us, okay, what is it that you want? And he gave us more than what we asked for, in terms of not just the funding, but the support. So he said, you get all of these things, but you have to do one thing. You have to have your office in Manipal, one of the offices at least in Manipal, because he was very keen that things have to happen outside Bangalore. And we said, yeah, why not? I mean, this is like a gift horse. So we said, yeah, funding, and then we have people. So he helped us hire, and so that was the start of our journey. And true to the adjective, he was truly an angel for us, because he, he of course invested, but then at difficult times he stepped in and also helped us even after we grew to a certain scale. And that was really what distinguishes people who have an impact on the industry, rather than someone who just kind of invests and has a stake. So that's why we have a lot of these fond memories. By the way, this video is, we are playing it from YouTube, so you can see that there's a lot of people talking about him. You can check it out offline on YouTube, but it describes his journey throughout. And apart from being an angel for Sankhya Labs, Mahant also decided that he has to scale up one more level. And he decided that enough with engineers, I'm going to take students from 10th standard and teach them VLSI. They don't need necessarily to go to an engineering college. And he did that. I mean, initially I remember when I first talked to him, I said, okay, Mahant, yeah, this is, this is a bit far-fetched. I know you did this with this, and believe it or not, I mean, he started on it almost right away. So he had set up these companies, Karmic, which were self-sustainable. He said, now you guys look after the business. I'm going to go and set up shop in Nisargi. And there he literally took students from 10th standard, and of course he had selection criteria and all that. But he would teach them custom layout using what we call these floor drawings, rangolis, right? With that, he taught custom layout to students from 10th standard. And he made it happen. I mean, with that sort of a talent pool, he trained them, and I'm sure many of you are aware that he built a business around even that. So I think probably the single word that, what we would address him with is probably he was the gardener for this set of people, this set of companies. In fact, a lot of the companies which, startups which we see in the fabless world, they have been mentored by him. And, it is, as a social impact agent, that is how the Technovation award, so that's how we have sponsored it. And basically the idea is that we continue to remember him for all that he has contributed to our industry. Thank you.
Thank you, Hemant, and also for sort of setting the tone for the awards. I'd like to request Mr. Venkatesh Kumaran, Senior Advisor, IESA and Partner at Accelerate, to now explain the Technovation Awards to us and to take the ceremony forward.
Good evening. Okay, so just a few words on the Technovation Awards and why we actually do it at IESA. So these awards, what we call Technovation Awards, aim to recognize role models of innovation and excellence in the electronics and semiconductor ecosystem. These awards honor India's best individual contributors and organizations driving the ESDM industry forward and provide them with a platform to showcase their achievements and product successes. So in short, we kind of have two categories. We have an academia category and an industry category, and we have 4 awards in the academia, which is the Techno Graduate Innovators, Techno Inventor, Techno Mentor, and the prestigious Techno Visionary Award. And in the industry category, we have 5 of them: Best Electronics Manufacturing Company, Best Electronics Fabless IP Company, Most Promising Startup, Most Innovative Products, and the prestigious award from an industry perspective, what we call the Sarabhai Award. So without much ado, let's kind of get to the results of the Technovation Awards. So the first one, we start with the Academia Awards first. The first one is the Techno Graduate Innovators. So the winner for this award is actually a team of engineers from Om Engineering College, Junagadh, Gujarat. The team members are Azim Memon, Viral Patel, Aliraza Merchant, and Baumik Patel. Their project was regarding smart energy monitoring and controlling system. This project involved IoT, of course, robotics, and AI technologies for its execution. So IESA honors them with the Techno Graduate Innovators Award. So request Aliraza Merchant to come on stage, please, and the team from Om Engineering College. Request Satya, our UC member, to give away the Techno Graduate Innovators Award. So we move on to the next award in the academia category, Techno Inventor. This award goes to Dr. Vinay Kumar of the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. Dr. Vinay Kumar is a professor at IISc Bangalore, and he has been deeply working with research for diabetes. IISa would like to honor him with the Techno Inventor Award for his hard work and dedication towards this research and helping solve a big prevailing issue. Congratulations, Vinay. Request Satya to come on stage and honor Dr. Vinay. So we move on to the next award, again in the academia category. This is the Techno Mentor Award, and the award goes to Professor Preet Ranjan Panda, IIT Delhi. Professor Panda is a professor at IIT Delhi. He has been significantly contributing to academic ecosystem at IIT Delhi for more than 16 years. He was appointed as a professor at IIT Delhi and subsequently became the head of Amarnath and Shashi Khosla School of Information Technology, IIT Delhi, former coordinator of VLSI Design Tools and Technology Masters Program, IIT Delhi, which is a unique industry-sponsored master's degree program. Thank you very much, Professor. Request Dr. Mitter to hand over the award to Professor Panda. So we move on to the industry awards. The first in the category is to the most promising startup in the systems category. The winner of this award goes to our very own EP, incubator, EVI Technologies Private Limited. It's a startup incubated at EP in Delhi, and they have a unique product called AC-DC combo charger. It can deliver up to 20 kilowatts power and can be wall-mounted, making it commercially attractive. It is completely IoT-based for charging authorization and remote data monitoring. May I call upon Aditya Raj Verma, CTO EVI Technologies, to come and collect the award. Request our EC member Veerappan to come and hand over the award to Aditya Raj Verma. We request the former Defense Minister of State, Dr. Pallam Raju, to please come on stage, please. Thank you, sir. So we move on to the next. We'd like Rajesh Ram Mishra to hand over a bouquet to Dr. Pallam Raju. The most promising startup again in the systems category, we had two of them. The winner of this award goes to our very own Bangalore startup, Knoll Technologies Private Limited. Popularly known as Zephy, by the product line they offer to customers. This is again an IoT-based startup, and the product line on offer is very interesting. The approach to capture market and potential to scale is pretty unique as far as Zephy is concerned. Call upon Amol Kamble, co-founder and CEO of Zephy, to come and collect this award. Congratulations, Amol. May we request Anil, our IESA chairman, to hand over the award to Amol. On the most promising startup again in the systems category. The winner of this award is FluxGen Engineering Technologies, Bangalore. They are a startup working in renewable and sustainable energy domain. Their recent product, AquaGen, is a water-saving device for industries that are heavily dependent on water. It helps in saving water-related expenses to around 30%. I call upon Ganesh Shankar, co-founder and CEO, and his team out here from FluxGen Engineering to receive the award. Request Anil, IESA chairman, to hand over the award to FluxGen. move on to the next award in the industry category, Most Promising Startup in the Fabless category. The award goes to Verve Semi Microelectronics from Noida. They are a startup working in two very niche fields of electronics and semicon, precision and 5G. Request Verve Semi, Rakesh Malik, CEO, to receive this award. Rakesh. Request Rajesh Kushu to hand over the award, please. We now move on to the innovation category. The most innovative product in the systems category goes to Spectral Insights from Bangalore. Spectral Insights have developed India's first fully automated digital pathology system. The market for them exists in diagnostic labs, hospitals, pharma, R&D, drug discovery, and possibly wherever light microscopy is used. So request Prashant, CEO of Spectral Insights, to collect the award from Hemant from Sankhya. Okay, we have a special mention award in the social impact category, and again, this is the most innovative product, again, in the social impact. The winner for this award goes to Thinker Bell Labs from Bangalore. Thinker Bell Labs is solving the problem through its first of its kind Braille ecosystem. Annie, the world's first Braille literacy device, which helps visually impaired to learn reading, writing, and typing in Braille on their own through an audio-guided gamified content. This is an innovation with a very big social cause and impact. May I request Mrs. Sanskriti Davle, co-founder and CEO, Tinkerbell Labs, to please come and collect the award. So request Hemant to hand over the award. Take a round of applause, please. On to the next. Most innovative product in the fabless category goes to our very own InVekas from Hyderabad, an electronics company with its presence across the globe. They have made the world's first HDMI 2.1 IC, including full support for HDCP 2.3. InVekas has been a recognized name in the industry, and with this innovation, they've got another feather of IP in their hat. Request the team, Ganga and team, to come over and request Rajiv to hand over the award to InVekas.
First products have been announced, have come to market from Samsung, from LG, Sony, TCL, Konga have all announced their 8K products. Behind me here, we're showing a demonstration from a chip company called InVekas. We're showing off the full 48 gigabit bandwidth for HDMI 2.1.
He's taking baseband video, so uncompressed baseband video, and it is transferring it over very long cables. It's a very difficult problem, high-speed analog transmission. This is now a receiver chip for TVs, televisions, a receiver chip for televisions, and this chip can bring in the 8K 60 video that we're showing here, or for instance also 4K 120 video, gaming or 5K
I was told
video,
this is also a product
10K
launch for
video.
Rainmakers.
Our electronics ends up in the TV.
Congratulations.
So our receiver chip is a port processor that handles the interface ports inside the TV. That our receiver chip for the television also receives the high bitrate audio and it brings that out over the enhanced audio return channel that HDMI 2.1 now brings to the ecosystem. So high bit rates, the latest Dolby Digital True HD is coming out over this cable to our HDMI 2.1 enabled with our Indica's technology AV receiver audio amplifier.
The best electronics fabless IP company. The award goes to Cyril Systems Private Limited in Bangalore. Cyril is the first fabless company from India which is shipping over 30 million units. It has innovation, design capability, execution, quality, and customer relationships. They have a huge asset of IPs with them and will surely be the leader in fabless and IP from India. May I invite Sumit, CEO and his team to come and collect the award from Mr. Veerappan. So we have two more awards, and that's very prestigious, both one in the academia category and the other in the industry category. Request Satya to come on stage and talk about the prestigious Technovisionary and Sarabhai Awards. Over to Satya.
Good evening. IESA recognizes all the players in the ecosystem, which makes us basically a industry association, which basically embraces industry, academia, and this award is for a person who has made basically an immense contribution towards ESDM and semiconductor ecosystem through the academic research. I think the person who we have chosen for this year, probably 80% of us would have worked with him in some capacity or other, although he's from academia, but most of industry has worked with him through basically his almost 15-year research in the research and development in the semiconductor and the ESDM space. His recent work in development of India microprocessor has been appreciated both basically by industry and the government. So since the person is well known to basically all of us, I think I would like you to guess who the person is. Okay. So it's a Professor V. Kamakoti from IIT Madras, who has been chosen to receive this award. He will come. Currently senior professor in computer science and engineering at IIT Madras. He started his career actually not in academia but in industry, where basically he worked in companies like ATI Research, which was the beginning of his career. And Surprisingly, two of our winners, our techno mentor was also who started, Preeti Ranjan Panda started his career with Synopsys and then went to academia. So very good to see these people. I think he's going to talk more about Shakti, but about 5 years back, basically he started research on developing India microprocessor, which basically can free up from basically having our own design, architecture, IESA, everything basically our own. And that basically got funded by Government of India under the India Microprocessor Program in 2017. Today, they have taped out 2 working silicon out of the university, which is basically amazing. One basically 18 nanometer at Semiconductor Complex Lab, and 122 nanometer through Intel Foundry. Thanks to JC and the company for giving them the shuttle for 22 nanometer tape out. And both are working silicon. I think Rest Kama can basically speak about himself.
At the outset, I immense thanks to the IESA for recognizing this effort. I'm sure it's not just for me, I'm just behind. There are dozens of students who have contributed. I just want my students who are here to just get up, and I request all to give them a big round of clap. So it was a dream. Around 2012, we decided, inspired by Dr. Kalam, we wanted to give India a production-grade processor, which is indigenously developed and indigenously manufactured. Around 2014, we started with power, open power, and that's how the name Shakti came. The Sanskrit name of power is Shakti. Then we found that power did not actually meet our timelines. At that time, Berkeley and MIT started with the RISC-V, and we found that it is suiting our timeline. And we started the RISC-V program around 2015. And 2017, we were funded by the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. I think Nishit, Sunita, are you here? So I thank the entire microelectronics team for having given us the funding for that. And then we came out with 2 chips, the microcontroller class chip, in which one was done at 22 nanometer. I thank the entire Intel team for supporting us. The Synopsys team, again, Srinivas Macha, you're here, for giving extreme good support at the real crucial hours. And of course, Cadence and Mentor for all the tool supports. And the Hindustan Computer Limited, HCL, who also pitched in at the time and gave us a lot of design reviews. We also had a similar tape out at the 180 nanometer at the Semiconductor Laboratory, Chandigarh. And these 2 silicons, it was all first for us. We come from the computer science background, so backend was, we have taught algorithms, but not actually made tape outs. And thank God, both the silicon were successful, and within actually 3 days, we were able to boot Linux on the Intel 22 nanometer, and that was a big. I'd been teaching operating systems for the last 15 years, and that was the first time I realized that before the Linux prompt comes, 70 million instructions execute before the prompt comes, and that was very amazing. And it's a great experience for all my students. We are now taking it forward. We are looking at basic fault tolerance, security, and intelligence to be inbuilt into our course. And our next dream is to make a supercomputer SoC for the country, and we call it Parashakti. I seek all your good wishes and support to make this program. Thanks. So I just conclude with a saying in Upanishads that this award be given to me, that I shall never be unmindful of my obligation to read, to learn, and to teach. Swadhyaya Pravachana Abhyam Nakramate. Thank you very much.
So I would request Dr. Mitta to present the prestigious IESA Technovision Award to true visionary Professor Kamakoti. Okay, the last award which we give to an industry visionary who had basically lifetime impact on the Indian ecosystem and had some foundational contribution towards the development of the ecosystem. So I think in the history of every industry, there are some events which completely change the complexion of the industry. In Indian semiconductor industry, on August 12th, 1985, such an event happened when Texas Instruments decided to open the first basically semiconductor design facility in India. I think when we are going to other awards and all the pictures of the people talking, I was just counting that 90% of the people on those videos have been product of Texas Instruments. So Texas Instruments coming to India in 1985, in a sense, gave birth to Indian semiconductor industry. And there was one person who was instrumental in bringing the, convincing the Texas Instrument management to set up the first offshore design center in India. And I think, again, I'll do the same exercise. Maybe people can guess who the person is. He has been basically working through various roles in different companies and have been a very strong supporter of developing the semiconductor ecosystem in India. So any guesses? So it's Dr. Walden Rines, currently CEO Emeritus of Mentor Graphics. I'll say a few words, then you take over, right? Okay. So Mentor Graphics has been recently acquired by Siemens. So he's part of the Siemens companies now. He did his PhD from Stanford long time back, probably when I was in school or basically a small kid. But he has been very close friend for last 15 odd years, and he's been kind of a guiding lights in whatever we do at IESA through his advice and on various topics. One fact I just wanted to mention about Dr. Rines, other than his basically efforts in developing the semiconductor ecosystem in India at Texas Instruments, followed by Mentor, and now at Siemens, right? In 1974, he had a patent on first gallium nitride-based blue laser. Okay, so later on, the same research was taken basically by a couple of other Japanese professors and resulted in 2014 Nobel Prize for the blue laser. But the fundamental research for that basically invention was done by Dr. Wally Rines and his team. So congratulations. Thank you so much.
Well, so my thanks, and my thanks particularly to IESA, to our panel here today, to all the people here. And over the last 35 years since Texas Instruments made its decision, we debated about locations in India, but we never dreamed that it would turn into this, that Bangalore would be such an enormous center, and then all of India would bring together such amazing innovation and become the thought leader in design and development. It's been a pleasure coming here almost every year over that time, watching the growth of an industry, the growth of an academic infrastructure, the growth of a wonderful set of innovative designers who are now taking their leadership position in the world, bringing us forward in the advancements occurring today in semiconductor technology, semiconductor design, and semiconductor innovation. My thanks to you all.
I would request Dr. Palam Raju to present the Lifetime Achievement Sarabhai Award to Dr. Walden Rhines. To conclude the Technovation ceremony, I would request Dr. Palam Raju to come and say a few words to the August gathering here.
I didn't bargain for this, and I should have guessed that there's no free lunch or dinner. Anyway, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be again with the members of the IESA and the Semiconductor Association members. This is not the first time that I've been invited by the IESA. In my previous capacities of, as the chairman of the Parliamentary Standing Committee of Information Technology, and then as the Minister of State for Defense, and also as the Cabinet Minister for Human Resources Development, I've had the privilege and the honor to interact with the members of the various companies in the semiconductor industry and the members of the IESA. At the outset, I would like to compliment the IESA for doing a splendid job of nurturing, guiding, and encouraging the industry and towards nudging policy initiatives. And today, India is a great testament of the capabilities that have grown indigenously. Every major company worldwide has its research operations out of India, and certainly the design ecosystem has matured, where we see so many fabulous semiconductor companies which are not only making commercial products, but also for the social good. We've just seen a young lady receive an award. Now, the time has come. India is a huge consumer of electronics, and I think the time has come to design products for the various challenges that the country faces. We all know that it's a huge market, and the real challenge before all of us is to get the manufacturing industry also up and going. Having a fab for India has been a dream which seems to be eluding India. Every government comes out with incentives to encourage the fab to come up in India, but somehow it's remained elusive. But I think there's so many other activities related to fabs and in manufacturing that certainly has the potential to come up in India, and I hope that the country and the industry rises to the challenge. I was going through a report by the IESA which talks about the size of the market, the size of the imports, and the potential for replacement by indigenous manufacturing. And I hope that the industry will look in that direction. I know that the government of India, irrespective of which government is in power, has been consistent in the policy initiatives and the incentives that are being offered. And states all over India have been very, very proactive. I live in Hyderabad, and I see how proactive the government there has been. They had a very young and dynamic minister in Mr. K.T. Ramarao, who was supposed to be here. Unfortunately, I think the cabinet is being formed in Telangana today, so he could not be here with us. Similarly, the governments in Karnataka have been very, very proactive in rolling out incentives and being open-minded to whatever facilitation they can do towards the manufacturing industry. And I hope that we will rise to the challenge. There's a young and dynamic officer, Mr. Madhav, from the Telangana government who's here. Mr. Madhav, will you get up and show yourself? And I've seen the kind of hand-holding and the encouragement he does to industry there. And I hope that every state has an officer like that, which will give a great fill-up to the industry. Anyway, thank you for this opportunity, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to give out an award to a very deserving gentleman. Thank you, and Jai Hind.
Thank you, Dr. Palamraju. So we come to the end of the program and the Technovation Awards, but before we kind of come to a close, we just want to kind of express our gratitude to Shishu Mandir. This year, the Secretariat took a decision that instead of buying expensive mementos and giving it to speakers of a Vision Summit, we decided to kind of donate that to an orphanage. Shishu Mandir is a home for poor, neglected, and traumatized children. This home is based in Bangalore. A portion of the speaker mementos I mentioned earlier is being donated to children of Shishu Mandir. This donation shall take care for 245 children for 34 days. So you request the trustees of Shishu Mandir to come and collect check. Request Venkat Simadri to come and hand over the check to them, please. So thank you, everybody, for staying over, at the end of day one. Thank you very much. I would like to express my gratitude to all winners of the Technovation Awards, especially to Dr. Walden Rines and Professor Kamakoti for accepting the prestigious Sarabhai and Techno Mentor Awards. I would also like to thank our sponsors, TI and Sankhya Labs, all the IESA members present here, all the EC members who've done a lot of work to make this happen, dignitaries, special guests, and all attendees. I hope you enjoyed the day one of IESA Vision Summit, and I'm sure day two will be as interesting as day one. And we have something very, very interesting for tomorrow. We have startups, we have innovation, we have manufacturing. We are going to talk about all this, as well as, we have a great panel on money. Right? All startups require money, right? So we have about 6 VCs who are going to come and discuss why they are not funding hardware. And what is it that startups need to do to get that money from them, okay? So thank you all. Thank you very much. Request all to head to dinner and see you tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. sharp. Thank you very much.